Why are certain things used done? Suggest why a bung is not used in the neck of the flask. CO2 cannot escape. Suggest why cotton wool is placed in the neck of the flask rather than leaving the flask open. To prevent acid spray. Suggest why universal indicator is not suitable for this titration. Too many color changes, hard to determine a set point. Explain why very little CO2 would be collected using the apparatus shown, inverted gas jar. CO2 is denser than air. Drops out of the gas jar. Why is the conical flask rinsed with water? Clean, remove residue from the previous experiment. Then rinse with the solution to avoid diluting solution. Why the white tile is used. To monitor the color change more clearly. What should be done to the conical flask as the dilute H2SO4 is added to the aqueous NaCO3? Swirl it. Why is it an improvement to measure the volume of gas collected at smaller intervals? More data available to plot a graph and see the trend more clearly. Why is the mixture heated? To increase the rate of reaction. Advantage of using a pipette. More accurate. Disadvantage of using a pipette. Slower, takes more time. Why use a divided flask? Reaction can start just by tipping the conical flask. Do not have to remove the bung. So no gas escapes while the bung is being replaced. Why pencil used to draw the baseline on the chromatography paper? Pencil is not soluble, pencil does not run, smudge, dissolve, change results. Safety precaution when conducting experiments involving chlorine. Use a fume cupboard, well ventilated. Chlorine gas is poisonous. Why repeat an experiment? An average can be taken. Allow comparisons. To allow anomalous results to be spotted. Improve the reliability of the experiment. Why should not put the bung in the boiling tube when collecting gases? The pressure would increase so the apparatus would explode. Explain why a 25 cc pipette could not be used to measure the volume of solution A. Solution A and B are two different solutions of sodium hydroxide. Fixed volume. Describe what should be done after filtering the mixture formed to ensure there is a maximum yield of crystals. Rinse residue with distilled water. Suggest why the volume of distilled water added to each experiment was increased as the volume of aqueous potassium iodate was decreased. To keep total volume constant, so concentration of sodium metabisulfite does not change. Explain why it is safer to heat the mixture of alcohols in the way shown rather than with a Bunsen burner. Alcohols are flammable. Explain why the apparatus in the diagram cannot be used to obtain butanol from the mixture. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Water bath will not go above 100 degrees Celsius. OR butanol boils at over 100 degrees Celsius. Butanol boils at 117 degrees Celsius. Why is filtration done? To remove solids from water. Explain why the U-tube is in ice. To cool, so that the steam gas condenses turns into a liquid. Large amounts of unreacted hydrogen should not be allowed to escape into the laboratory. Flammable, explosive. Explain why the graph line must pass through 0, 0. There is no reaction with no magnesium. Errors in chromatography. Spots baseline below solvent level. Baseline drawn in ink. From the chromatogram it is not possible to tell if the red ink contains different dyes. Suggest how the experiment could be changed to find out if the red ink contains different dyes. Use an organic solvent, different solvent. Why does it not matter if a little distilled water is left in the flask after it has been rinsed? Does not change amount of EF or volumes, amounts already measured. Explain why the aqueous silver nitrate is acidified. Nitric acid reacts with removes carbonate ions. Suggest how the mixture of alcohols can be heated safely. Water bath, electric heater, heating mantle. Oil bath. Suggest why this method would not work to make barium sulfate from barium carbonate and dilute sulfuric acid. Barium sulfate is insoluble.